Hello, this is Brother Alexis Spagnola with a thought about discernment. One of the greatest treasures of human thought, in my opinion, is to be found among the great scholastic thinkers of the Middle Ages, among whom I hold the greatest to be Bonaventure, for handing down the wisdom of the ages. And there's one term among his writings that we need to focus on, and that is the word quiescence. Quiescence is the state in which something grows quiet in the presence or in the face of something else. It's not a word we regularly use in English nowadays, but it does exist in our vocabulary. And it's an important fact to note what quiescence is. It's a principle of discernment when you're trying to figure out political loyalties and networks. The general principle is this. You know that Group A is controlled by Group B, or B's superiors, when Group A grows quiet in the face of objectionable action or behavior of Group B. Quiescence is a sign of infiltration, corruption, intimidation, negligence, or false opposition. We saw quiescence on a massive scale when a man whose father was never a U.S. citizen was appointed President of the United States of America in 2008 and 2012. I say appointed because the U.S. Constitution requires that presidents only be someone born on U.S. soil of two U.S. citizens. That being the case, every political organization in the United States and every association of lawyers should have objected vociferously, but they accepted it silently. This quiescence showed that the United States of America is not a democracy, but a political theater controlled by the political class who consider themselves the law and the Constitution a piece of toilet paper to serve them and be thrown away. U.S. citizens are currently in shock over the massive election fraud in their country in the recent election. And they put hope in the fact that the rule of law and the U.S. Constitution will win the day for Donald Trump. But they have ignored the principle of quiescence. Have they forgotten 2008 and 2012? And have they even read the U.S. Constitution? Kamala Harris was also not born on U.S. soil, but there wasn't even a blip of objection to her nomination as vice president, even though a holder of the office of vice president must have all the requirements of the holder of the presidency, because they can succeed to the presidency in certain conditions. We also saw the massive quiescence of cardinals and bishops to the anomalies surrounding what the mainstream media claimed or alleged was the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2011, and then the public confessions of participants in the vote rigging campaign in the apparent conclave of 2013. But yet there was hardly a blip of objection. Near total quiescence. Bishop Gracita of Texas was the only one who held out for 8 years, with the honesty and grace to say that there was something gravely wrong in both and each should be investigated. The near-total quiescence of the U.S. political machine to gross election fraud is the sign by which Christians in the United States and abroad should recognize the hand of the Masonic lodges, which want you to consent and assent to the fact that they govern you, not your elected officials, and especially not officials elected by you. This is the next stage of progress they want to lead us all toward, namely recognizing that the lodges rule us, and that democracy is merely a window dressing to an anti-Christic, absolutionist tyranny. If you close your eyes to quiescence, then you are choosing to live in a make-believe world where propaganda is truth and actions are fiction. You have rejected Jesus Christ, who teaches us to pay attention to these things, saying, "Do not judge them by their words, but by their actions." Christians true to that name will be faithful to Jesus Christ in all his teachings, especially ones like the one I just cited, which are the very source and principle of discernment. And let us be humble confess our own sins and change our lives, lest our appeals against the damnation we have merited find quiescence before the throne of the divine majesty. For we shall be judged how we discern things in this world, and whether we have served Jesus Christ or grown quiescent before the Masonic New World Order. Pace bene.